there, thanks for joining us for another episode of Tricia Talks. Today we have with us Ward & Taylor attorney Barbara Broadway, and we're going to talk a little bit about attorneys and real estate settlements and more information you need to know. Hi Barbara.
Hello.
So, thank you for coming. I actually prepared some questions to kind of throw at Barbara so she can give us some information on her expertise with that. Barbara, what would you say are some of the things to look for when you're selecting a settlement attorney?
Oh, that's good. That's very important because a lot of people will simply go with whomever. Maybe they used an attorney in the past, helped them with a car accident or something like that. Well, attorneys are very specialized these days. An attorney who does real estate needs to know this market, needs to be up on the latest. You want to go to an attorney who specializes in that area of law, not just somebody who was a generalist or, knew your father back in the day or something like that. So specifically, what you need to look at is you need to look for experience in that area of law, in real estate, obviously, since it's a real estate attorney. Secondly, you want to look for somebody who knows how to communicate and will actually talk to you, which sounds pretty funny to say, why wouldn't an attorney talk to you? But there's many times when you call and you just get barriers and you just sometimes need to explain and talk to the attorney directly. And that's something that I do all the time. I really like to talk directly to the client. It doesn't have to go through somebody else. Sometimes, you talk to the paralegal and she'll just say, hey, that's an attorney question. I'll send you over to Barbara. So you have to be able to communicate with somebody because you need to know that if there's an issue, if there's a problem, you've got somebody that will actually listen to you.
Yeah, and actually feeding into that, what are some of the things, what is the function of an attorney for settlement? What are some of the things that you do?
Yeah, I get asked that question a lot because neighboring states, Pennsylvania, Maryland, South Jersey, you don't use attorneys for settlement. They use title companies. So a lot of people coming from other states are like, what do you mean I got to have an attorney? And first of all, they think that an attorney is more expensive when in fact it isn't. It's the same that you would pay in a neighboring state to not have an attorney. But my main role in the settlement is to make sure that the buyer is getting good title. Title being ownership. In other words, anybody can do a deed, but a deed has to have meaning behind it. You have to do a title search. The seller can only convey to the buyer the good title that the seller has. And if the seller doesn't have good title, then the buyer's not getting good title. So we do a whole process behind the scenes called a title search to make sure that when you buy, you have free and clear title. That's the main thing that we do. But we also coordinate the settlement. We also make sure that if there's a problem or a dispute that we're there to help try to work things through. We do a lot of different things with the settlement, but we actually conduct the settlement itself, meaning that at the very end of the process, we help you explain documents, go through them all, and make sure that what you were promised is what you are getting.
Right, so about how long is settlement and what actually takes place step by step?
Usually, settlement's an hour. Sometimes they can be longer, and they may seem longer to people too. Sometimes, no, I try not to drag on and on and on in a settlement. But generally speaking, a settlement's going to take about 45 minutes to an hour. It's when you sit down. Basically what I tell buyers is that at settlement, you sit down, you give me all your money, you sign a bazillion times, and you walk away with a set of keys. So that's the short version, but I explain every document to you, and you've been in enough of my settlements that you know that unfortunately I do explain the documents. Not every word, I try not to bore people, but they need to know what the gist of each thing that they're signing. I truly believe that nobody should just set something in front of you and say, hey, sign here, and you don't have any idea what you're signing. So we explain it. The seller signs all the documents, like the deed documents and the other documents conveying the property to the buyer. The buyer signs all the documents for the mortgage company, and all the money changes hands and the buyers walk away with a key. And that's the best part of it. You walk out of that settlement room as a homeowner.
Wow, thank you so much for answering those questions for us today.
Sure. Love it. Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us for this episode of Tricia Talks. We'll see you soon.